Professor Drew, guys. This time we're talking about net working capital, actually working capital. And I really enjoyed the video. I have to say, I thought the guy was really good. I thought he spoke really fast, so I hope people caught it because it was actually really, really good. I'm an accountant though, so I really understand that stuff. So that's why I'm really passionate about the subject. Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities, but it really, like he said, that's not the important thing to know, because that's not really relative. What really is important is knowing the change in the working capital, the revenue and the metrics, and just to kind of get some information about the company. So no cash is considered and no debt in the change in operating assets. And I understand that when looking at a cash flow statement, because I do them. And it's a difficult concept to explain to sometimes to a non-accountant, because you're looking at the change in payables, not the payables, the change in payables from year to year and the change in receivables. But unless you really do a cash flow statement, sometimes that concept is tough, even for accountants. Sometimes it can be tough in the beginning. So that was one thing I thought was interesting. So I'm hoping people caught that. What else can I say? So this person looked at 3 different companies: Salesforce, Amazon, and Walmart. And the important differences in the change which would cause their cash flows to be, their working capital to be either negative or positive. And so right off the bat, you can tell that Walmart is a mammoth company. And the big things that really affect them would be the inventories. They're a box store. They have to have inventory. It has to be on the shelf before a sale can be made, at least in the box store model. So they have to pay for that. They have to pay for the inventory. So that makes sense. While you have to expend the cash for that, so they're when they purchase it, they're spending cash. They're not getting the money from the customer until a customer buys that piece of something off their shelf. So that makes sense why it's negative. Also, the one thing they could do to help is to extend their liabilities, not pay suppliers longer, and then that would help out their cash flow situation. But they did say that it's like I said, it's a big company. They have a lot of cash, so they try to pay their. What they did say in the video was they tried to pay their vendors quickly. But now you move to an Amazon. Amazon doesn't have to have inventory right then on a shelf. People are shopping online. So as I go out and look for an Amazon product, they don't have to have the inventory. They can order it and kind of actually have me pay for it before they actually got it from their source. Technically, they have a shipping thing in there, right? You have a little time to pay to. They're going to have a couple, maybe even a week to get it to me. So that's why theirs is positive, because they don't have to have stuff sitting on the shelf. They do have stuff sitting on the shelf, I know, in that big warehouse, but it could be after a client like me ordered it. Now, that can be an interesting factor, because as Walmart grows competes with Amazon on the sector, with like a just-in-time inventory, when they're growing their online service, that could be big. Right now, I don't know what the online sales are versus Walmart's box store chain sales. I'm assuming it's small, but as it grows, it could shrink that working capital piece. So I thought that was interesting. Then you go to Salesforce, which is a completely different model. And the reason why that's a different model, because it's a subscription service. So they deal with deferred revenue, so the change in deferred revenue. Makes sense. You can pay for something for sale, like a Salesforce subscription, for 12 months upfront. Now, they have this deferred revenue. They have the money. I've given them cash for 12 months, and they then can recognize that revenue over time. But they have the cash. So from an accrual basis, they're recognizing that cash over time on a financial statement, accrued financial statement. But from a cash perspective, they have the cash. And cash is king. Cash is how you, there's a reason why they say cash is king, because you can do stuff with that cash now. Okay? We had the same kind of situation at our company. We're a not-for-profit. We went to back about 20 years ago, they were having a hard time paying. We were having a hard time paying bills on a monthly basis. We're a non-for-profit company, and we get revenue from the state for kids that live at Hepzibah, a group homes situation. But instead, what the CEO did 20 years ago, went to the state and said, "Hey, can you pay us in advance? We're going to say we have 15 kids or 20. Now we have 26. We have 26 kids a month. Can you pay us in advance of the month so we can feed and shelter these kids appropriately? And then we will square up at the end of the month, saying if we had a kid went to a different group home, or we found a foster care family to have that child." And they said yes. So we effectively turned a cash flow situation around, and that really got Hepzibah on the right track to having positive cash flows. So this kind of stuff works, and I really recognize the importance of it. So I hope I'm explaining this well. I really like the subject. It's really good, and I thought the video was really, really good. So I hope they'll understand working capital and the revenue component and the pieces that make up that operating assets that can impact cash.